Have you ever wanted to make your stories more vivid? To really paint a picture of a moment in the past? Well, today, we're going to master a key tool for doing exactly that, the past continuous tense. Let's dive right in.
So let's imagine a scene. It's a simple everyday moment. I was watching TV. See how that kind of creates a picture? It sets up an action that's already in progress. But what happens next?
And there it is, the interruption. I was watching TV when the phone rang. And just like that, in one single sentence, we have a background story and a main event. That first part, I was watching TV, that's the tense we're focusing on today.
So, what was happening in that moment? That's really the core question the past continuous tense helps us answer.
So here's the key thing to remember. We use the past continuous to talk about an unfinished or ongoing action at a specific time in the past. It's the perfect tool for setting the scene and giving your stories a really rich, descriptive background. And you want to know the best part? The formula for this is actually incredibly simple. Let's break down exactly how you build it.
That's it! Seriously, all you need is the past tense of the verb to be, so that's either was or were, plus your main verb with that ing ending. Was studying, were playing, was watching. See? Super simple, right?
And you'll notice here how the verb changes depending on the subject. For I, he, she, or it, we use was. For you, we, and they, we use were. From there, it's a piece of cake to form positive statements. Negatives, like I wasn't studying, and even questions, like were they playing? Okay, so now that we know how to build it, let's look at the three main situations where this tense becomes your absolute secret weapon for better storytelling. This is the big one. It's the most common use, and hey, it's exactly what we saw in our very first example. You've got this long background action that's happening, and then bam, a short action comes in and interrupts it.
This is a perfect visual for that. The long, ongoing action is she was walking home. And then the short interruption, it started to rain. The walking is the background scene, and the rain, well, that's the main event.
Okay, on to use number 2, setting the scene. You can use the past continuous to describe a bunch of different actions that were all happening at the same time, and this creates a really vivid atmosphere.
For example, the sun was shining, the birds were singing. You can immediately picture that, can't you? See, here it's not about an interruption. These are all parallel actions happening together to build a complete scene. It's a fantastic descriptive tool.
And finally, our third use. We use this tense to say what was in progress at a very specific moment in the past. It's all about zeroing in on a particular time.
This question is a perfect example. I'm not asking what you did last night in general. No, I'm asking what was in progress at that exact time. At 8 p.m., I was watching TV. The action was literally happening right at that moment. Okay, this brings us to what is probably the most common point of confusion. What is the real difference between the past simple and the past continuous? Let's make it crystal clear, once and for all.
Just look at these two sentences side by side. Grammatically, the difference is obvious. I ate is past simple. I was eating is past continuous. But what does that small change actually do to the meaning of the sentence?
This right here is the key. I ate dinner means the action is finished. It's over, a completed event. But I was eating dinner means at 7 p.m. you were in the middle of the action. It was still in progress. One is a result, the other is a process.
All right, before we wrap up, there's one big exception you've got to watch out for. Avoiding this common mistake is pretty much the final step to truly mastering this tense.
So here's a question for you. Can you just take any verb, add was or were, and put an ing on the end? Well, the answer is almost. But yeah, there's a catch.
You need to be really careful with this special category of verbs we call stative verbs. These describe states or conditions, not really actions. We're talking about verbs like know, want, love, or need. And these verbs, they don't usually like the ing form.
For instance, we'd never say, I was needing help. It just sounds, well, it sounds weird, right? Exactly. Instead, we'd just use the past simple. I needed help. So for these state verbs, always stick to the simple form.
So there you have it, the past continuous tense, completely demystified.
And to put it all into practice, here's a final thought for you. What were you doing yesterday when something unexpected happened? I'll bet you can tell that story perfectly now.